Honourable Jan Barham.
We love the coast, but the New South Wales coastline has experienced the impact of coastal storms and inundations since time began. These impacts have been ravaging and moulding the coast and its uses, affecting the scale, density and type of development that exists along our coastline. There have been a loss of villages, jetties and infrastructure, heritage, many shipwrecks, as well as loss of life. The New South Wales coast suffered severe cyclones and storms during the 1950s and 1970s. The state government introduced the Coastline Protection Act in 1979, adopted the Coastline Hazard Policy in 1988, and then in 1990 the Coastline Management Manual, which defined climate change. In 1997, the Coastal Policy was released. All these documents provided guidance for local governments to determine plans for the coast based on extensive studies of hazard and adaptation principles and models, public safety and access, and included the vital role of public consultation. Internationally, the Intergovernmental Panel on Climate Change was established by the United Nations Environment Programme and the World Meteorological Organisation in 1988 to provide a clear scientific view on the current state of knowledge about climate change and its potential environmental, social and economic impacts. In 2007, it released its fourth assessment report, which identified that there was a likelihood of sea level rise increases above 1990 mean sea levels of 40 centimetres by 2050 and 90 centimetres by 2100. The state Labor government took action by introducing the Sea Level Rise Policy Statement in 2009 to prescribe to councils the basis for studies and assessments in future strategic planning and promote adaptive risk-based management. But when the current government withdrew the sea level rise guidelines in 2012, according to question the future of development in the dynamic coastal zone, it did so without an inquiry, study or report. It did so without justification, but it perhaps also did so without consideration of its own risks and the future costs, financial, social and public safety. Was this a cynical move to shift the legal liability for future risks to councils instead of ensuring that the state government takes responsibility? Government, state and local, have a duty of care and must be open and transparent about their decision making and inform the communities on the basis for coastal decision making. John R. Corkill, a member of the New South Wales Coastal Council from 1999 to 2003, a long-term environmental advocate and now a legal academic, has produced a number of articles that question some of the long-held beliefs relating to property rights and the question of whether our beaches are public or private land. Mr Corkill's 2013 article titled Ambiguous Boundaries in New South Wales, Real Lines in the Sand explores the concept of moving shorelines on coastal land titles. He considers the doctrine of accretion, erosion and the movement of coastal boundaries and the relationship to mean high water mark and the impacts of climate change. He reviews historical legal cases and questions the current legal thinking. He proposes that, quote, where land is generally eroded by the sea or covered by rising sea levels, a boundary originally defined by survey does not survive, and any part that comes to lie below the mean high water mark ceases to be land that is real property. This is a very significant issue in terms of the protection that is required for our most loved public asset, the beach. This issue has been directed to the Registrar General of the New South Wales Land Titles Office for clarification. If not resolved, we may lose the commons as coastal property owners seek to protect their land from the rising sea levels and claim a right to land that is ours, not theirs. If private property owners are allowed to claim the land that is the beach, to place rock walls or revetment works to protect their land, it would not only be a folly as the sea is a force that knows no boundaries, it will come at a great financial cost to society. Currently there is contention about the future risks of climate vulnerability and climate change and how to manage them in many coastal areas, including my home area of Barham and the small village Volbar near Taree. The challenge is how to plan and manage the coast in light of the past and the scientific projections. Adaptation is required to avoid a future where the developments and public infrastructure located in New South Wales coastal areas will be at risk. The Commonwealth Government's 2011 Climate Change Risk to Coastal Buildings and Infrastructure report estimated that the replacement value of New South Wales residential, commercial and transport infrastructure affected by a 1 metre sea level rise could be more than $40 billion in 2100. If these contentious issues are not taken seriously and acted on urgently, then we lose much more than the beach. We risk a legal liability and financial impact that will be unprecedented.